Okay, it's Sunday once again. Once more a battle lined up. Right, so this week it's 3,000 points as before. I think Si's pretty much got the same army as he had last week, and I'm playing my vampire counts. But this ugly little white line across the board, which was knocked up in about 5 seconds, so that's pretty good. Was because we're playing a scenario from the book called Rivers of Death. And we hadn't really planned to play it, so it was a bit of an afterthought. But Si's knocked up this river in no time at all, so that's what we're going to be using. Especially for those who don't have the big red book, the big rule book. It's basically a river through the middle of the board, and you have two fords or bridges. We're just going to use fords, and you've got to control them by the end of the game. So it's kind of like Watchtower, but with two bridges instead of one tower. And if neither of us control them, i.e. they're contested, or we're just not in range of it, or whatever, then it goes down to victory points. So we thought we'd try it out. We got a rulebook recently, so we're just trying out some of these new missions. This one was a bit of an afterthought, hence why we've gone for this one and not some of the other ones. But it is the first one in the book, so we'll probably run through them as time goes by and try them all out, because some of them look really good. Including this one. So, running through my army, I have a spirit host, 30 zombies, 5 direwolves, 30 zombies with a level 1 necromancer, 38 graveguard with great weapons and a cairn wraith, I have a terrorgeist, 2 fellbats, 6 crypt horrors, 20 zombies with a level 4 master necromancer and another level 1 necromancer, mortis engine, which I've now painted, so that's looking pretty good, 40 ghouls with vampire lord, another spirit host and another 5 direwolves, and that's it. So and then for spells, my level 4 got Gaze in the Gash, Curse of Years, Invocation of Nehek and Raise Dead. My Vampire Lord has Van Hell's Dance Macabre, and the 2 Necromancers have Invocation of Nehek. So that's it. I'll hand you over to Si, see what he's got.
Yeah, my army is pretty identical to what it was last week. I'll run you through it again. I've got 5 Reavers with additional bows. I have 28 White Lions of Crace with a BSB who is a Lowland Sea Helm and a Lawmaster of Hoth. Then I have a unit of 15 Silver Helms, then a unit of 10 archers, just basic archers, an eagle, another unit of archers, a Frostheart Phoenix, which I've kind of tentatively deployed, depending on sort of what situations might arise. It's a bit difficult to know what to do with this guy, because his attentions were needed all over the battlefield, to be fair, so I've placed it in the centre. Another Grey Eagle, a unit of 24 Phoenix Guard with level 4 Wizard of High Magic. I got Fiery Convocation, Drain Magic, then there was the Hand of Glory buff, and Apotheosis. So I'm trying to heal my guys up, heal my characters. Yeah, and that was forgot the rest of it. Then I've got another 10 unit archers, and I've got another unit of reavers on my right flank. And I deployed, finished deploying first, so I should get the +1 roll. And we'll see you at the end of the first turn.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 1. I'm on the roll to go first, and basically I got quite aggressive straight away as we were so close to each other. Charged my Spirit Host into his Reavers, my other Spirit Host into his other Reavers. I attempted to charge my Crypt Horrors into his Eagle, and he fled. And that was it. Then for movement, I shifted the the ghouls up. The reason is it was a ford and they were overhanging into the river, they couldn't actually march through it, even with the general. So they moved up. These guys obviously failed their charge. These guys just moved up as much as they could. Terrorgeist flew over here just to threaten those archers. Graveguard and the zombies stayed where they were. These zombies moved back a bit. These hounds just moved up to protect the flank. And that was pretty much it from that. Then the magic phase I rolled double 8. First up I cast a Fortify 8 to me. No channels, even though I've got 4 wizards. So first up I cast Raise Dead in the river. I led it through. Then I cast Gaze of Nagash, which he dispelled, and that was on the Phoenix Guard. Then I cast Van Hale's Dance Macabre on the ghouls, just so they can move across the bridge. They also have rerolls to hit now. And then I saved the remaining dice in my Black Piriap on my Master Necromancer. Then in the shooting phase, I actually got to shoot something with my Terrorgeist. I rolled 2 and a 1 and killed 1 archer. Yay! And then in close combat, whiffed all my attacks. And that one I actually hit, wounded, but he saved it. And he failed his break test, but then he was within 12 of his CSB, so he got to re-roll. So he stuck, and he stuck there as well. And that was it. So it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 1. And yeah, looking pretty well. I'm getting quite aggressive this side, and obviously I'm hanging back here with all these nasty stuffs over the river, and I don't really want to tangle that just yet. So we'll have to see what happens in his turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of half turn 1. There were no charges. Everyone just sort of moved up into position. Got these 2 round. I moved the Frostheart Phoenix over here to cover. And that was about it for movement. Then in the magic phase, I rolled 6, got a 5 and a 1. Ollie failed channel, as did I, but Ollie had 1 dice with his Black Piriap. So I put all my eggs in one basket and tried to cast Fiery Convocation with 6 dice. Got it off, and then in a ridiculous display of luck, actually managed to kill 30 of Ollie's unit of ghouls. And then in the shooting phase, managed to kill 2 more and put 2 wounds on the Terrorgeist. And then in close combat, I lost a guy, Reaver over here, and then actually managed to put a wound on there just because of the musician. So the musician took me to one, managed to wound it. Yeah, that was it. So ridiculously lucky for High Elves. Yeah, it's now down to Undead turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 2. Quite a harrowing turn, quite a lot to think about, especially after one of my biggest units is on fire. So charge wise, I charged with the zombies into the Great Eagle. He fled. Then I charged the direwolves into him as well, and he fled again over here. So that was it for charging. Yeah, movement phase. I threw the Terrorgeist over there, which is in range of the general, so he could march. I bailed my general out of there just to join the crypt horrors, save him from a bit of shooting, rather kind of writing that unit off. Although I did take steps to try and save it. These guys pretty much stayed where they were. The bats flapped over here. These guys crossed the river. These guys moved in front of the archers, just being really annoying. And that was pretty much it for movement. Then in the magic phase, unfortunately I rolled quite a rubbish one. I rolled a 5, 3 to side, 5 to me. So I channeled twice after I asked him not to. So it's 5 on 5. Thankfully I got quite lucky though, because I managed to cast a Raise Dead over here, so I failed to dispel it. So I got 5 zombies, because I rolled the bare minimum, but that might help. And then so just conga line them there, just to buy me a bit of time. And then I cast a 12-inch invocation with this guy, and managed to get 5 ghouls back. And then at the end of the magic phase, he burned 4 of them. So because I didn't actually dispel the complication. So I'm trying to keep it alive, but I didn't want to waste all my dice on just that, and so I'm trying to keep them alive just by invocating to keep them up. Luckily, he rolled quite badly this time. I say badly, probably pretty average actually. Yeah, so the ghouls are still in there. Hopefully I can save them, but if not, then maybe we can hold them up for a bit. So that was it for magic. Then in the shooting phase, I screamed with my Terrorgeist. Thankfully rolled quite high. Managed to do 2 wounds to his war budgie. So that was it. So that was the end of my turn. Oh, no, sorry, the close combats. This was a draw, so I lost by 1 because he's got musician. So I took a wound, and then this one actually killed someone. So I won that combat, and he held. So that was it. That's the end of Vampire Count's turn 2.
Okay, the end of High Elves turn 2. Wow, what a game. These guys charged. My archers charged his zombie unit. The other archers turned around to try and shoot at the Terrorgeist, although they reformed, but they failed their swift reform, even on with a BSB reroll. Then the Frostheart Phoenix charged the remainder of the ghouls, and the Phoenix Guard charged into the massive unit of massive unit. I mean, as in charged into the unit of 5 conga lining zombies. Sorry, I was getting a bit ahead of myself there. That was pretty much it for movement. Then in the magic phase, I rolled a 6. I only got 5 dice to dispel with. I Spirit Leeched his Cairn Wraith and killed it, failing to get any dice back, unfortunately. I then failed to cast a couple of spells. One of which was Shem's Burning Gaze on there, which Ollie dispelled. And that was pretty much it. I Spirit Leeched that. Oh yeah, that was it. I tried to cast Apotheosis on this guy, and Ollie dispelled it. So yeah, that's now the end. In close combat, yeah, they wiped out the zombies. This finished off the last of the ghouls, along with I managed to kill 6 of them with the fiery convocation, then killed the last 3 in combat. Unfortunately, these guys overran when they wiped them out, which was a little annoying, so they're a little bit out of position now. Then over here, basically the pillow fight continued. I lost a guy to that Spirit Leech, and then in the draw I managed to blow my horn at him and do him another wound. So yeah, that was. Oh yes, and in the shooting phase, sorry, I might add, these guys put another wound on the Terrorgeist. So yeah, going rather well at the moment. So yeah, it's now on to Vampire Count's turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Count's turn 3, and attempting to claw it back now. Attempting. Okay, so let's think what happened. So I charged the Crypt Ghouls and the Vampire into his war budgie. I don't think I charged with anything else. No. So movement wise, dogs pretty much stay where they were. The Terrorgeist flew over here just to get in range of my Master Necromancer, who marched up because he's in range of the General. Just to get within 12, so hopefully to get some heals off. These guys just flew back. Everything here, these guys just kind of moved up to get ready to just get in the way. Hopefully bog them down for a bit. Didn't actually move the dogs. Graveguard stayed where they were, waiting for some magical assistance, which is in the form of this my bunker with my level 4. This rolled quite high for its aura, obviously giving these guys a 4-up regen, and a few other things a 6-up, but it also did some damage to the Phoenix Guard, managed to kill one of them with its dark aura as well. So that was it for that. Then in the magic phase, rolled pitifully low. I think was it 4? Yeah. So I got a channel, but thankfully I did as well. After 20 channel attempts with my 4 wizards, I finally got one. And Si's got one like every turn. Right, so that was that. So what did I actually cast? I attempted an invocation with this guy. So I scrolled it. That was after the first spell I cast, which I can't remember. Van Hell's Dance. I attempted to cast on these. I rolled a double 1, so it failed. So I had 4 dice, didn't you? So yeah. So then I cast a invocation with my remaining 3 dice. Rolled quite high with it, so I didn't want to take any risks, so I scrolled it, sensing the death of his mage was close, but also I just wanted to take the risk because it would have healed up the Terrorgeist with 2 wounds, one from the lore attribute and one from the spell itself. So I think that was a very wise decision. So that was it for magic. And then in the shooting phase, the Terrorgeist with only 3 wounds left fired at the wall budgie. It was a little bit of a risk because obviously if I killed it, then I'd rob myself of the combat and not get this overrun. But thankfully I rolled exactly 2 wounds on it. It had 3 left, and so I failed them. So I actually took 2 wounds, which is absolutely perfect. So that was all the luck for side burning my entire unit was kind of balanced by that little stunt. So swings and roundabouts, and that was it for that. And then in close combat, the Spirit Host killed 1. The Spirit Host over here killed 1, so they're still remaining in combat. He held with both the break tests. This one, his archers finally threw down their bows, stopped trying to shoot zombies in the head with bows, and pulled out some big old machetes and chopped up these zombies. The zombies did nothing in return. But there's 1 left. So, and then in this combat, my 6 Crypt Horrors opened up and got 3 poisoned and then 3 other wounds, and basically had to make all of them, otherwise he'd lose his final wound and die, which is what happened. And then because I was so close, I just overran straight into the flank of this unit. So it's not looking good for the Phoenix Guard, hopefully. Yeah, so that was it. So that's the end of my turn 3. I'm happy with what's going on over here. Obviously there's not much going on over here at the moment, but I'm sure it's all about to kick off now that this flank's kind of sorted. So it's nice to see the whole board lit up with action, really. So it's usually just a concentrated battle on one flank as I runs at my gun line in an army that isn't supposed to have a gun line, like using my orcs or something. So it's really nice to see a whole battlefield lit up. So yeah, so that's the end of my turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of High Off turn 3. Over here, basically the fight continued. Combat was a draw, but I had a musician, tooted his horn, did another wound. The White Lions charged in and hacked up a load of zombies, leaving 5 left. Then the Eagle moved over just to try and redirect. These guys tried a long bomb charge, but were just 2 inches out, so failed. What else? These guys finished the last guy and reformed. Finished the last zombie they were fighting and reformed. This unit and this unit shot at the Terrorgeist and killed it. Then over here, I managed to lose like 6 guys, just because Charles on the flank, and I suck at rolling 4-ups now because I got all the 4-ups I'm ever likely ever to roll ever again in the first turn. Then over, last but not least, over there, I took a wound that held. Magic phase was a total write-off, as Ollie managed to get more dice than me, because for about the 20 billionth magic phase in a row, I rolled a 1 followed by a number. So yeah, not so great. Yeah, it's going pretty badly for High Elves now, so I need to get my arse in gear and sort something out. Suspicion I've lost that flank utterly. It's just a matter of time of when. So Yeah, it's now on to undead turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of vampire counts turn 4. Is it 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So just remember to test at the end of your turn. It's a good end. It's the end of vampire counts turn 4. Right. So Mortis Engine just moved up. Rolled an 8. Managed to kill a Phoenix guard with its Dark Aura. Gives some more regen. These guys charging with the Eagle. Unfortunately, I did this combat before this combat because I should have restrained instead of overrunning into. Anyway, so yes, they killed the Eagle and overran. These guys killed the zombie and reformed. That's pretty much it for movement. These guys just flapped over here. Then in the magic phase, I rolled 11 and got channels, so I got channel as well. Actually got 2 channels, but one of them was discarded because it was already above the limit. I managed to cast a Raise Dead here to make this line of zombies, which I thought was going to help me, but it didn't in the end. I cast, what else did I cast? Van Hales on these guys with the Book of Arcane. Rolled a double 6, so the book was destroyed, but I still got it off. He cast Van Hales as well, to give them rerolls to hit. Didn't really help them in the end, so whiffing like crazy. These guys moved into the tower, which I forgot to mention. And then attempted to cast something else, I think, and you just spelled it, didn't you? I can't remember what it was. Something. God, I can't remember what it was now. Curse of Years.
Ah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just spelled Curse of Years. So that was it for the magic. No shooting, so we went straight into close combat. These guys finally beat those Reavers, and they started running away. Which reminds me, I'll remove some wound counts on them. So Reavers aren't coming back. These Reavers actually beat the Spirit Host eventually, and just reformed. This combat killed 5 Phoenix Guard. He did a wound in return. I won the combat. He was steadfast, so he held, but failed to reform. Like I say, these guys chopped up the 5 zombies and just reformed, and that was pretty much it. So that's the end of Vampire Counts turn 4. So Size turn 4 coming up next.
Okay, it's the end of High Elves turn 4, and yeah, basically I charged in the Graveguard. I charged the Graveguard with my White Lions into the flank. Managed to wipe out a grand total of 19 of them, which was lovely. That was after crumblings as well, and unfortunately my Lawmaster took a wound. Basically everyone else moved along. The Silver Helms have moved through the river. They're with a desperate charge against a Grade A nuclear weapon sat over here guarding the other bridge. Alas, I finally managed to lose my Phoenix Guard. They went down valiantly, eventually failing their panic test and scarkering. So yeah, that was it. This flank is going rather nicely to me. This flank is going rather nicely to Ollie. So that's who can kind of get in and sort of finish the job. So yeah, it's a bit crazy. At the end of my go, I rolled the dice to see if we ended the game. I rolled a 3, so not yet. So it's now Undead turn 5.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 5. We rolled last turn and the game did go on. So let's see what happened. So first up, well, I think we saw that last time, but these guys are obviously in the Reavers. Charge-wise, there wasn't anything. And then in the movement phase, with the dogs around to get onto the bridge, I moved these up so they're actually touching the bridge. They're not actually a conga line, they're actually facing this way, as you can probably see. So they just moved up, so now they're clipping the bridge. Move the Spirit Host round to come towards the bridge. Basically, I'm swarming the bridge with things that can capture it and / contest it. Obviously contesting it in this case, just because I'm not actually going to kill those guys anytime soon. And then the same I did caught on here, as I moved out the bunker. leaving the level 4 in there to get in their way. Move the bats over for more chaff. Got the level 1 out, who's potentially going to be chaff as well. Mortis engine just moved around just so this would be in range of the reliquary, so get the +2 to cast. Then in the magic phase, rolled pretty well. I think I got 2 channels, didn't I? I had one in the Black Piri app, so did pretty well. What did I cast? Cast Curse of Years on these guys. I elected to let it through, sensing that his knights were so chuffed up they probably weren't going to get out of that anyway. What else did I cast? I cast a Raised Dead here to give me another unit on the bridge, in the shape of 12 zombie goblins. What else? There's something else cast. I cast Invocation from the Heck on the Graveguard, which gave me 6 back. As you can see, that didn't go well, even though they did have those extra 6. That's pretty much it for the magic phase. And then in the close combat phase, utterly destroyed the Graveguard by 1 guy. I completely whiffed against his Lawmaster, but then his Lawmaster did whiff against me.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, all his mates killed 16 Graveguard in total. So that was pretty bad. No, I think it was more like 26 Graveguard actually. Got 26 there, and 1 survived, so 25 Graveguard died. That's what happens when you get white lines in your flank, because you're an idiot, like I was. So, yeah, don't do that. But the fact remains, he's still holding them up, and these guys have got to fight a fair bit of chaff before they actually claim that bridge. So it's probably not going to happen. Especially as they're surrounded by them. Yeah, and there was no other combat. Oh, there was this combat. He just took the Reavers off because there's no way they're going to beat 5 crit balls and a Vampire Lord. So it's fair enough. So that's mine. Just keeping a watchful eye on that building. Should those archers decide to poke their head out, be ready to charge them with all that horridness. So yeah, so that was the end of my turn 5. So he's going to have his turn. He's doubtful whether he can win, but he's going to give it a bash in this turn and see what happens. So hand over to Si.
Okay, it's the end of High Off turn 5, and yeah, this is pretty much it. It's the end of the game. I'll talk you through what happens. I finished off the last of the Graveguards in an epic challenge between the Lawmaster and the Champion. Over here, I wiped out nearly all that unit. We just couldn't be asked to take them off because it's the end of the game now.
Yeah, there's only 7 left in there.
Yeah. I dispelled Curse of Years on that in the magic phase, by the way. Got Earth Blood on them for no reason.
Healed your Lawmaster.
Oh yes, it healed my Lawmaster. Although that was more blind luck than anything else. Then I shot at this with all my shots and put. Okay, it's the end of half turn 5 and the end of the game. Basically, there was no charges except for the Silver Helms and the zombies. Magic phase, I got Earth Blood on my unit of White Lions, healing up my Lawmaster. They then, in the close combat phase, finished off the last Graveguard. I wiped out most of that unit of zombies, taking them down to 7. We just haven't removed them because, well, it's the end of the game and there's no point. And then basically I just shot everything I had at the Mortis engine, but failed to do anything. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Unfortunately, Undead in typical Undead fashion managed to swamp all the objectives, and even my brave White Lions just couldn't kill enough guys. Almost 100 killed by that unit, and that still wasn't enough because there was still another good 40 or 50 to kill at least. So yeah, unfortunately I've had to concede a win. Ollie getting 1 objective, which he holds there, to 0 because he is contesting them currently with the goblins, and he has several other units he can do it with as well. So even though we didn't roll the end of the game, it's pretty much, I mean, with a necromancer capable of spamming enough invocations and raised deads to make sure that none of those units over there go anywhere. There's no way I can kill that number of guys to even pull back a draw. So yeah, a very good game. Outmanoeuvred by Ollie quite brilliantly at the end, which is good. I like games like that. Don't mind losing to shit like that. So yeah, I will take you through how I think I did. Basically, it was going really, really well. A bit of luck at the start, wiping out his ghouls, and that was pretty much going my way. I mean, I was doing brilliantly. Then, unfortunately, it was the overrun where Ollie had quite nicely placed those 5 zombies in a conga line. I had gone in, wiped them out, and then I failed to restrain without my BSB about, which in a normal game I would have had the BSB, but without the BSB, they unfortunately, I rolled a 10, and then they ran forward 6 inches, and that was perfect, because then that gave means I then had to sacrifice the Frostheart Phoenix in an attempt to try and hold them up. And to be fair, it very nearly happened, but Ollie got that scream off, knocked all but 1 wound off, and then to be fair, he got 3 wounds on it anyway, which would have finished the job. But there was a chance that I could have apotheosised it and all that kind of stuff, and held him up long enough for me to reform and sort of be in the front. Because I think if I'd gone in the front, I would have wiped that unit out, killed his general through combat res, and then I would have been able to try and work on getting rid of that mortis engine and getting his magic phase down. I probably would have lost my wizard at that point, but I would have still been in a reasonably good situation. But that's what happens. I mean, I had some really, really great luck. And then it balanced itself out. It was just one thing. Wasn't really my fault. So I shouldn't be too bad about it. It's a little bit annoying, but it happens. But yeah, then in the end, it was some pretty nice gameplay. Ollie then realising that it didn't actually matter if his Graveguard completely died. He then realised that he had enough troops around that objective to basically stop me from claiming it fully, because I could have, I would have reformed at the end of that combat, and then I could have charged the conga line, for example. Ollie then could have just simply moved the dogs in, or even better, that spirit host, because the spirit host would have been, I could have, with the static combat res, I could probably I would have wiped the spirit host out easily, but all it has to do is just sit and dance around me. So every time I'd reform to face it, it could just simply move around me and prevent me from doing anything. So yeah, I was never going to get that. Plus the fact that with the Necromancer still up with Raise the Dead, he could just put units on top of that objective every which way, and every time I dispelled it, that would then give him ample dice to then start invocating other units and just slowing me up. So there was no real way. By this point, it was rather nicely played there, and yeah, that's the victory. I think I killed a hell of a lot of his army for relatively little loss. You can see the casualties up there, but the undead ate those casualties. Those are my casualties. Not very much. But at the end of the day, that's how objectives work. And yeah, Ollie claimed 1 objective and I didn't. So it's a good win, very good win. So it was a really, really good game. These are the games I really don't mind losing. To be outplayed, I have no problem with. It's only when luck doesn't go like rooks me or.
Yeah, there's so much going on in this game. The whole battlefield mattered.
That's it, and it was really, really good, because I really this list is really nice. There are probably a few little odds and sods that I need to put in it. I think maybe swapping around, or maybe I need another Lothan Sea Helm to stick in with the Phoenix Guard. See if I can squeeze a Sea Helm in somewhere, because
well, to be honest, I'd put the level 4 in with these guys, so they can build up their ward save with the spells, and then put the Lothan Sea Helm with the Crown of Command into the Phoenix Guard.
Yeah, that's
makes more sense, doesn't it?
2 stubborn units.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then he can get a ward save then, can't he? You could even give him like 5 up ward save, and then you can build it up with the spells.
Yeah.
Because they're already stubborn. If you give him that shield, give him the Crown of Command, put him in the Phoenix Guard, you've got a really horrible unit that no one's going to want to charge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I think I'm going to experiment with. Now I've had some fun and some pretty good success with this particular list. So I'm going to tweak it in terms of the character balance. So I think I might exchange out the Lawmaster for a slightly cheaper, or a lot cheaper level 2. See whether I can get something out of that. Because I really like the idea of maybe going full out high magic. Because
the level 2 would be good in the Phoenix Guard as well, because then only one of his spells off to give him the 3 up. Because the level 4 needs to be in with these guys.
Yeah. So that then builds them a nice ward save to protect them, and then it just buffs the other guy can just buff the Phoenix Guard enough that I can get like a nice save for them, and then I'm pretty sorted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea. So I'm going to I'll see about freeing some points up. The Lawmaster's nice. I rather like having all eight signature spells. Gives me a lot of flexibility. I got Spirit Leech the Cairn Wraith, which I think probably would have caused me a few hassles because that thing's pretty nasty. And I wouldn't have had anything in the unit to actually to damage it until right at the end, so it could potentially have been hacking up certainly my Lawmaster. So yeah, that gives me some things to think about. So I think for me the man of the match has to be the White Lions because they didn't lose a single guy. They butchered an entire. Well, actually,
30 zombies and
30 zombies.
30 grave guard.
Yeah. They probably a close second would be the archers, who actually brought down 2 units of archers. This unit here, and this unit brought down a Terrorgeist. Yeah. So, and I think the whiffers of the match, probably, to be honest, were the Phoenix Guard, which just goes to show because the Phoenix Guard still did really well, but just them overrunning when they didn't need to. I think was probably what one of the things that cost me the game. But that's part and parcel. But yeah, it just goes to show that sort of everyone did. So, I mean, even my chaff. I mean, they held up really, really well. Defeated the Spirit Host over there. Held that Spirit Host up for nearly the whole game over here. They did really, really well. I mean, that was what I was intending to do. I mean, if I'd got the first time, I probably would have charged the Spirit Host as well. But yeah, all very good. So I will hand you over to Ollie, and we can see what he thinks of the game.
Well, I agree with Simon. It's probably one of the best games I've ever had, actually. There was so much going on with it. Really nice to try a new mission. Although initially I thought it was just going to be like a watchtower, but with 2 watchtowers. Actually, it proved quite tactical having 2 objectives. So my initial plan for the game was to it was basically to keep the Grave Guard here and just be a threat, because there's no way he's going to want to charge his Silver Helms into there. So it was leave the Grave Guard here and wait for magical support from the other side. So this side I was planning to race my general round with the Crypt Horrors and the Crypt Ghouls and just destroy everything this side, swing around the tower, and then I would have the magic support for the Grave Guard to move in and basically just mop up. I was looking for the big win here. And although I absolutely hate splitting my army as vampire counts, although I've never really had to split them so drastically as that, I thought it was the best way to do it. There's no way I had magic support for both sides at once. So it's just hang back, throw zombies at him, do whatever, hold him up. When the Grave Guard are ready to go, when the Master Necromancer gets over here, then get on with it. And just clear it with this side, which I thought I could do, because there's only Phoenix Guard over here. And, Vampire Lord with all those ghouls, the Crypt Horrors, the support of the Mortis Engine, it's just going to destroy them. So, and up until the point where he cast Fiery Convocation and destroyed 75% of my unit. And, and then I start getting a bit scared. So it was really like the jiggling of smaller units just to redirect stuff. and I tried to wrestle it back. And I think ultimately, like I said, the Phoenix Guard failing the overrun from those 5 zombies I created here really is what turned it this side, because the Phoenix Guard and the Phoenix themselves had this wrapped up once the ghouls had gone. Because the Cryptorans could have gone in there, but with the -1 strength from the Phoenix, they weren't going to do a lot to those Phoenix Guard, even with the poison. And the Vampire Lord was kind of like looking at Crumble City. So I'm really happy with how it went here. I saw a chance and I took it. I'm really glad I did, because initially my plan was, this is before the Phoenix Guard overrun, was to actually start working the Vampire Lord back through here and get him into the Grave Guard, and then work on this side and just chaff up this side, which is kind of what my plan was initially here. Just chaff it up until they had the support. But as this side was defeated, just chaff up that side and then work on this side. But because he failed the overrun, I saw a chance. Obviously my Vampire Lord and the Crypt Ghouls. Key was killing the Phoenix, which, as we kind of found out throughout that turn, was that it was actually detrimental to Sai to dispel one of the invocations. There's no way we could have thought of that at the time, because it healed up the Terrorgeist for 2 wounds, which would have made it a much easier proposition to kill the Phoenix with it. And obviously the Terrorgeist did 2 wounds to the Phoenix, leaving it on 1 wound. But if he had the full 5 wounds, it probably would have been much easier to kill that, thus robbing me of the overrun, giving the Phoenix Guard a chance to reform. Then it would have been Bad News Bears like for this whole kind of section. So I'm really glad that happened. Obviously I had a good chance of killing the Phoenix, but at the end of the day it's toughness 6. Even my Vampire Lord was only strength 4, so I was relying on a lot of 6s to kill it. So the way it worked out was really good. So I was quite lucky with the Terrorgeist to get those 2 wounds, and then finally mop it up. So I think I did 3 in the end anyway, but you know, I didn't necessarily know that was going to happen. So that overrun the flank of the Phoenix Guard, and then just the sheer amount of damage I did to them. I think Simon made one mistake, but he kind of realised that the next turn, although I didn't think of it either, is he just should have challenged the Vampire Lord with his champion, thus saving his wizard, maybe giving him an extra chance to get a spell off to give him a 3-up ward. But like we said, hindsight is 20/20, so you're never going to think of these things in the heat of the moment. So there's just some little things that happened there. But ultimately, his overrun is what cost him this flank. But you know, you can't predict those things. So that was really nice. So that gave me the chance to get this back. And then this side, I kind of made the horrendous mistake. I put these here thinking I was being really clever. Then I did this combat first, killed the eagle, overrun, hoping to get into the silver helms, being greedy. But then, of course, I did this combat, and then the one thing I didn't actually think of is you just turn around, and that's giving me a chance to charge the flank of the Grave Guard, which of course is what it did, and then charged in and proceeded to slaughter them. And I was of course getting a bit demoralised by that, because I was expecting these 38 Grave Guard to just destroy everyone, at least the silver helms. So he moved the silver helms out. These guys came in and just ruined them. So yeah. So. But then I kind of had an epiphany, you know, had a bit of cake, went to the toilet, came back. I was like, well, I don't really need those graveyard at all. I just need to chaff this flank up. So I started moving the dogs around, move these to contact the bridge. The Spirit Host is coming back over here. So everything there is just geared up to he's going to spend ages killing these guys. He's got to reform it after each kill, face it, charge it, kill it, reform, face it, charge it, kill it. So it was never going to defeat all this stuff. So I've gummed this up pretty nicely. And then moving these guys out of the building, using the level 1 and the bats just for more chaff, and just redirecting the hell out of these so they never get to these guys. And just gum that up as well. I've basically got that bridge. My only worry was these archers were going to come out of it, but then I've positioned these to counter charge anyway. So yeah, I think the gumming up thing worked, and I think so I was right. I don't think he could have really wrestled a win here, unless the game on had gone for like 6 turns and I just blew up my wizard or something so he could stop casting invocations or raise deads. So I don't really think he could have he got a win out of that. But as it turned out, because of all this going on, there's literally like 2 battles which relied on each other to support each other. So they're kind of like racing around to help it. Well, this one's going to race around, you know, not race round, but they relied on everything to work here to come round and support this flank. But luckily I had a bit of luck here, and then the magic support was freed up to come over here and help the Grave Guard, which didn't really work out. But it was getting the magic over here that really made this possible to gum up this stuff. So yeah, so it's gone really well. I had some luck there, some bad luck with the Ghouls. I think yeah. So it was just a really exciting game because there was so much going on. Even the Spirit Hosts on the flank, you know, they were fighting for like 5 or 6 turns. You know, it's just the whole battlefield was erupted in action. I was gutted when the Terrorgeist got killed by pesky archers. I didn't see that coming at all. I was just expecting to take a few more wounds, then I was to send him over and get healed. But so that was a bit annoying. But that Terrorgeist served me well. I managed to put most of the wounds on that Phoenix, which is a thorn in my side for vampire counts when I don't have any cannons or stone throwers. But then stone throwers and cannons haven't really been doing me very good lately, so I don't really fancy using those anyway. Yeah, so just a really good game. It was so fun. It was really nice to see just so much going on, and just thinking, you know, we were constantly sitting there contemplating things between us. You know, just there's so much happening. So yeah, easily one of the best games we've had to date. I think size list is really good now. I think it just needs a bit more tweaking. It's a really solid list. Certainly liking playing 3,000 points. Just gives you those extra 500 points really do make a difference, I think. But yeah, so for me, the man of the match, I don't know, probably my Necromancer actually, for casting a ridiculous amount of raised deads and just generally being Johnny on the spot with the spells. Terrorgeist did pretty well, obviously putting the wings on the Phoenix. But yeah, the real duffers of the match probably the Grave Guard, because they killed an eagle, did 1 wound to a Lawmaster, and then got wiped out. So yeah, they were pretty rubbish. But yeah, and summon zombies I think deserve an honourable mention because they got that one. So yeah, it was a really good game. And we're probably going to look at some more of the rulebook missions because they're quite fun. We've never tried them before, so expect one next week. Not sure what armies we're playing yet. Hopefully it'll be another 3,000. I'll have to see about time, but there will certainly be a game, and it will certainly be a lot of fun. So see you next week.